4 years. I've been doing Spain's Kitchen Diaries for 4 years. Ooh! Squirting everywhere. There we go. Light little coat on that. Looking good, huh? So we're at 166. Actually, that's not the internal temperature. Look at this. How am I looking at the temperature if it's unplugged? That's the temperature of the smoker right now. Oh, all right, we're having fun. I don't know if this is gonna work, guys. Very moist. The flavor is kick-ass. Alright, welcome back to this special episode of Spain's Kitchen Diaries. Glad you're with me this morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning. So, alright, we got a kind of an experiment we're going to do. Again, last episode, I got rolled the offset smoker out in the backyard. My experiment was to try to get, one experiment was to kind of lure the smoker a little bit more with the heat, with the adding of the wood and the airflow, stuff like that. And I felt like I maintained it very well. I thought it, anywhere from probably 225 to 260. Towards the end, I was kind of keeping it around there. So like I said in that last episode, I filled the water pan completely with cold water, completely full, and I think that messed with the humidity in the smoker. So it kind of messed the other part of my experiment, which was using the pan. There's a guy I work with named Dennis, and he said, well, what I do is I just throw it into a pan, and I just wrap the top with tinfoil, and do it that way. And he says it's a lot easier. So I wanted to see, does it take longer, to get from 170 to 204? Is it about the same? I didn't get to find out because I had to pull the meat early. My wife, she was ready to eat. So my grandma's having a Christmas Eve party, and I'm gonna do a pork butt. And so I thought, well, heck, why not try the pan method and see how it does. Instead of doing the offset smoker, I'm going to bust out the old trusty pit barrel and see how it does with that. We don't have any water pans in that, so hopefully we'll see. I never had what happened on the last episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I've never had that happen before, where it just stalled for hours and hours. But anyway, so what we're going to do today is, with the pork butt, I'm going to season it exactly the way I did the last episode, which is, kosher salt, black pepper, and then I'm going to finish it off with some Weber dry rub smoky brown sugar. So that's what we're going to do with that. And so as a bonus for this episode, we're going to do another, it's kind of a side experiment. I'm also doing a pork tenderloin for our bunch here at the house, so we could have something to eat as well. And so it is a almost 6-pound pork tenderloin. And so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna throw something together. I forgot to grab the injection at Walmart yesterday. So what I'm gonna do, let me just show you. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of, in my measuring cup here, I'm gonna take a little bit of butter. We're gonna melt it. We're gonna melt the butter. We're gonna add a little bit of chicken broth, and then we'll finish it off with a little dash, or maybe a little bit more, of jalapeno juice from what was left in the bottle that we finished off yesterday. Hey, I don't know how it's gonna turn out. That's why it's called an experiment. So I am glad you're with me. So by the way, this pork butt, before I forget, this old pork butt here is, my eyes are getting bad, guys, almost 8-pound pork butt. So this pork butt is actually 1 pound bigger than the one we did, what was it, a week ago? And it took us an offset smoker. I pulled it at 180 degrees at about the 11-hour mark. So we had anyway, we had some issues with humidity in the cooking chamber, but so yeah, 11 hours for that one, and it could have went longer, but it was done. I brought it in. I thought, this sucker ain't gonna shred. Went to shred it. It shredded pretty good. So hey, it passed the bone test too. So anyway, that's I know I'm still irritated with that episode. I know you can tell. So yeah, without further ado, let's get the pork butt seasoned up. And so then we're gonna get the pit barrel fired up. We're gonna get our internal temperature rocking. Hopefully around 250 would be nice. We're gonna throw the pork butt on. I'm expecting it to be 8 to 10 hour cook. And so at about the 4-hour mark, I'm gonna have the pork tenderloin seasoned up. We're gonna throw it on the smoker, and hopefully the pork tenderloin and the pork butt will just finish right on time, and we can pull them both at the same time. You think it's gonna happen? Let's find out. Salt. Pepper. Yeah, I'll do it outside. I'm gonna do the double rub. This. Yeah. So one of Dennis's ideas, which I discussed last episode, was to season it the night before using saran wrap. And then that way you wake up and you're ready to go. So anyway, last night we got busy. I didn't have time to do that. So I thought, hell, I'll still lay saran wrap out. What's nice about it is once you get your meat seasoned up, whatever falls on the sides, just wrap it up in the meat. Good to go. A lot less mess. So I'm gonna start doing that. That's just kind of a side note. Saran wrap is our friend. Also, I didn't trim anything. I didn't trim any fat. I just left it au natural. So let's fire up the pit barrel. You can't see it really good, but it is Kingsford Original. And I'm going to put a little bit of cherry chips in there. Dash a little bit here in the middle area. And I'll put some more on top. Chunks along the side here. Yeah, I'm prepping for at least 10 hours, so I'm gonna fill it up real good. Then I'm about to take a bunch of them back out and put in my chimney. So I got my old trusty pit barrel chimney here. I don't know if you can see it, probably not. I guess I could turn my camera light on, huh? Alright, so what I did is I just took evenly all the way across and I filled up my chimney. Good to go. I used to take from the center and then just pour it in the center and then just as it smokes let it go out. To me, one problem I had with just dumping it straight in the center, it seemed sometimes the juices would fall and it would kind of put the fire out sometime. The last time I used it, dumped it Thanksgiving. I dumped it, and then I just evenly distributed the coals all the way across instead of directly in the middle. So, all right, let's fire up the chimney. All right, welcome back to Spain's Kitchen Diaries. So, this is what it's all about. Getting outside, got the chimney going. I'm excited. I'm always excited. So I got the ambient temperature in the smoker, and right now we're at 54 degrees. That's how cold it is today. Not bad. There is, however, as you can see behind me, I've got my awning set up in case it does rain. We can pull the smoker under here and be good to go. So it's always better to be prepared. We have overcast. You can feel the moisture in the air. So we'll see if it rains. .54 ambient and 46 degree pork butt. Alright, I think that's about how I want it. I've had the smoker fired up for about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. We've been kind of hovering at about 260 degrees ambient temperature. We're at 259 right now. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We're gonna go ahead and get her on. So without further ado, let's get her smoking. Alright, we got the pork butt on at exactly 8:02 as of right now. Ambient temperature is at 220 and rising, 222. The pork butt is not plugged in. The pork butt is at 50 degrees. I'm thinking around noon, 1 o'clock. Should be about the midway point. I'm gonna set my alarm for about 4 hours. We'll see where we're at, and then we'll kind of make a decision on whether to throw the pork tenderloin on there. All right, well, I'll keep you guys updated. All right, guys, I just put the pork butt on about 15 minutes ago. I went ahead and moved everything inside the canopy, just in case, because knowing my luck, I'll go inside, get busy, then I'll look out, and it'll be pouring down rain. So better to be safe than sorry. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, welcome back to Spain's Kitchen Diaries. So, just giving you guys an update. It is, let me walk over here. Alright, it is 12:43 p.m. We've been on the smoker for 4 hours and 45 minutes almost. I might be running a little bit behind on my tenderloin, but that's okay. So here's what's going on with the pit barrel today. Typically, like I said, I would take from the center of the charcoal basket and put that in my chimney, light it up, and just dump it right back in the center again, right? And so what typically would happen is I'd run about 215, 220, 225, kind of on the low end, right? Well, this time, I showed you guys, I just spread it all the way out, all the way even. And I've been running at 250s to 270s, pretty high. So next time, I might not spread it all the way out across. I might just, probably leave an inch or two around the edge of the basket. So, I'm okay with it because it's a pork butt. It's not gonna hurt it. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna make it cook quicker, which I'm okay with too. So I just gotta get that tenderloin on. So now what we're gonna do? So yeah, I'll actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you guys. So here's my ambient temperature. Right. That's how what I've been fighting today. Well, not really fighting. At least it didn't get too cold, to where, we're doing this for, 12, 15 hours. All right, so let's go to the pork butt. So here we are. We're at the stall. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do this injection that I just came up with, just on the fly. Like I said, we're gonna do butter, chicken broth, and a little bit of jalapeno juice. I think I'm also gonna add some of this Weber smoky brown sugar into the butter when I melt it in the microwave. And then we'll get the tenderloin injected, and I'll probably season the outside the same way I did the pork butt, just not quite as much. All right, let's do it. Not much. Let's just warm it all up. How about that? Let's just add it all. Alright, let's warm it up in the microwave. Alright. That was easy enough. Oh, I bet the seeds are getting stuck up in there. Oof! Ooh, spraying all over. It's gonna spray everywhere. Yeah, I made too much, I think. Made too much. Ooh! Squirting everywhere. Alright, we'll do a couple more squirts and then call it good. Alright, now let's get a paper towel and pat it dry. This is what we're going to eat for our Christmas dinner. Because they were out of pork butt. Gotta give Grandma our pork butt. Let's season the fat cat first. Alright, let's start with our kosher salt. And yeah, I'm gonna kind of do a light dust. And kind of something about like that maybe. Alright. Salt is good. Let's do some pepper. Pepper. Don't want a lot. Weber smoky brown sugar. Here we go. Oof. That stuff comes out pretty fast. You gotta kind of be gentle with it. There we go. Light little coat on that. Then we'll flip it, do the same thing to the other side, wrap it up, and then I'm going to let it set for probably 20 minutes or so, and then we'll put it on the pit barrel. Alright, welcome back to Spain's Kitchen Diaries. Excited to be here. Okay, let's do an update. We're 8 minutes till 2 o'clock. We've been on the smoker. The pork butt has been on the smoker for 6 hours. We've got a internal temperature of 167 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and call it because I'm ready to get this sucker on there. We've still got and this is a pretty good sized pork tenderloin. So I could have put this on about a half hour ago or so, but I thought, you know, it would be a lot better when I take this out to wrap and I could just throw this thing in there and do all this at once. So while I'm wrapping, which, well, like I said, I'm going to put it in this tin and keep it probed and just cinch the top off with tinfoil. While I have it out, I'm going to throw some lump charcoal in there just to keep the pit barrel up to temp to get me through this cook. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. Alright, let's get a look at this, guys. Look at the color here. Alright. Looking good, huh? Let's wrap it up. Okay, so we're at 166, 168 internal. Make sure I got this cinched off really good. Actually, that's not the internal temperature. I'm looking. Look at this. How am I looking at the temperature if it's unplugged? Man, that's the temperature of the smoker right now. Oh, all right, we're having fun. Yeah, I wish I had a better angle, but I'm trying to hurry. I'm starting to feel the moisture in the air. It's feeling like it's gonna start sprinkling, so I might fan it out a little bit. So what we got, I'll describe it. I kind of got a section close to the air vent over here that's more burned away than the rear. So I'm going to kind of move the coals around a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of air. Alright, I'm going to give that about 5 minutes to kind of, 5-10 minutes to kind of catch, and then we'll continue on here. Alright, let's get the tenderloin probed. Probably go, let's see, I mean typically I would go from the top, but I think I'm going to go towards the side. Let's try that. Alright, we got some good coals now. I'm just hoping I can fit this thing. I wasn't thinking about that. Trying to fit this pan and the tenderloin. Was not thinking about that. I don't know if this is gonna work, guys. Originally, I was gonna do just the pork butt by itself, just for our party. And my grandma was gonna have my uncle do a pork butt. Well, he decided not to do it. And so we went to we went to a couple different places. They had no pork butt. So We got a tenderloin. This ain't gonna work. Son of a bitch. Ugh. So we're gonna give it a try, man. Well, that's all I can do. Let's might just have to wrap this thing. But that's gonna mess up our experiment. Well, let's give it a try. Alright, welcome back to Spain's Kitchen Diaries. Alright, 9 hours, 24 minutes later, our 8-pound pork butt has reached 204. Tenderloin is at about 141. I'm going to pull it at 145. I mean, it's a little... That's when they recommend to pull it. It's a little underdone than what I would like. But what we're going to do with it is pull it at 145, let it rest for 30 minutes to an hour. So that's what we're looking at. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it and let it vent, and then let it rest for about an hour. And we'll keep watching the pork tenderloin. Well, it'll help if I take the probe out. Got a little bit of coal on that side. There. That's right where the heat's at. It's got a good color to it. Alright, welcome back to Spain's Kitchen Diaries. It is 6:14 p.m. The pork tenderloin was on the smoker for slightly over 4 hours. I got to about 143 and my internal temperature on my smoker just kept dropping. I finally got to I opened the air vent up, lifted the lid, and it just kept dropping to about 212. So it's dark out there. There's clouds to the east of us. So I went ahead and made the decision to bring it in and just finish it off in the oven. Sometimes you gotta improvise, and that's what I did today. So this is what we got right now. It dropped a little bit. We went to like 134. I'm looking for that 145. Not too worried about overdoing it because 165 is where most people cook their tenderloin. I'm looking for that, of course, 145 to 150. So even though it dropped, I'm not too concerned because we're just gonna, like I said, we're gonna throw it in the oven. It's gonna cook a little bit more when we reheat it. Well, we're gonna throw it in the oven in the day after tomorrow and warm it up. All right, well, we'll keep trucking, and I still got the pork butt resting here. It's been resting for about 45 minutes. And you know what? It's just gonna rest until the pork tenderloin's ready to be cut up. Anyway, we're having fun, having a good time. So the first experiment, where instead of wrapping the pork butt, we put it into a tin foil pan and just sealed the top of it with tin foil. And actually, I think it's about the same. Last weekend when I used the offset smoker, everything just went to, it just didn't turn out right. But this time I was able to see, just to be able to compare from wrapping it or using the pan. And really, I want to say, if you got the room and it's the only thing that you're, like, for example, the pit barrel, you only have so much space. If that's all you're doing, use a pan, a small pan. So like earlier, we found out that, to do a tenderloin and have the pan in there, it was almost too much. Keep that in mind. I actually like it. It's a lot easier. I mean, you can just maintain all your juices and just shred it in the pan that you came to temp in. I mean, it's such a good idea. Thank you, Dennis. All right, so we'll just keep waiting on this tenderloin to get up to temperature, and I'll pull it and let it rest for at least 30 minutes or so. All right, thanks for being with us on Spain's Kitchen Diaries. All right, it's almost 6:35 and we hit 148. So let's pull this out of the oven. Okay, let's let it vent off a little bit. Oh, Dolly, you smell the food, girl? Ooh, it smells good. Really good. Ooh, yeah, let that. Look at that. Look at the color on that. Alright. I might probe it right quick just to double check. Alright, I am showing 156 in the thickest part of the loin roast. So, alright, we'll let it rest. Alright, so about 7:40, we will be doing some slicing and shredding. I can't wait. Alright guys, let's do the bone pull test, just to see how well we cooked it. Yonk too. Yeah, oh, there it goes. Falling off the bone. Look at that. Looks clean. The pull test is a success. Alright, check that out, guys. I think it looks pretty good. A little more done than what I thought it was going to be, but actually, I mean, it's perfect. Yeah, there's some juice. There's definitely, I know you can see juice in the bottom of it. So yeah, there you go. Got her done. I tried a bite of it, and yeah, I'll try one right now. Why not? All right, let's do a bite of the pork tenderloin. I'm sneaking a bite. I hope nobody finds out. Mmm. Wow. Very moist. The flavor is kick-ass. Really, I mean, damn, that's good. Very, very good. All right, I'm gonna start shredding up the pork butt. Yeah, guys, looking really good. Look at that. Look like something you could eat. Very juicy. Got a lot of juice. The pit barrel did good. We got a few toasty spots, but yeah, that's all right. Those toasty spots taste really good. Isn't that right, dog? I got my dog over there. She is watching me, making sure I don't drop anything. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, like kind of like this, a little spot that got a little toasty, but it's all good. All right, and we will try a bite here in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna add a slightly more kosher salt and slightly more pepper to taste, and then I'm gonna drizzle it with some Chud's hog sauce. Then we'll try a bite. Oh yeah. I'm ready to get my first bite. Alright guys. Man, this is exciting. Alright, here we go. Let's just take a pinch of this. Alright, here we go. Oh, that's true. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Mmm. very moist. The smoke isn't overpowering, which is nice. You can definitely taste it. I might add a little bit more of my vinegar chud sauce. But other than that, very good. I think Grandma's gonna like this tomorrow, so I'll have to wake up and put it in the oven. I'll have to figure out how long to warm it up. So that's just something I'll have to figure out. All right, guys, I thank you for being with me on this episode of Spain's Kitchen Diaries. Until next time, get out there and have fun cooking.